Yeah, it's me, Roger. Well, back here with Apollo Justice Attorney. I really need to get through this game. Desperately. I need to get through this day at least. That's bugging me. I'm very behind in my editing, as usual. But I can't stop playing the games because they're so fun. For context, right now, as the time I'm recording this episode, which is Apollo Justice 18, I still haven't edited Apollo Justice 15. And if you look at all the videos in between Apollo Justice 15 and this one, Apollo Justice 18, you'll notice it's more than 10, so I should be editing that. I'll edit one after this. I'll edit Apollo Justice 15 is the next one I have to edit. I'll edit that right after this, I promise. I promise. At least I'll start. But we just got to an intense moment in our day one trial, for the killing of Machi Tabai. I mean, that's not what the trial is about. The trial is about the killing of Romain Latouche, but I mean, this will result in the killing of Machi Tabai if we're not careful. Or I guess they get sent to juvie because he's a kid. I don't know. Who knows? It's fiction. There's all kinds of weird stuff going on in this world. Anyways, the judge is confused, as am I.
Please explain to me what all this means. I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see.
Oh yes, because we just said that the blood being erased and I missed that for like 20 minutes. Yes, I remember now.
Yet up until now...
Poof. It seems I owe the courts an apology. The Gaviners are a band with law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred during our concert. Apparently this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Yeah, what the hell are you talking about, Gavin?
Hey, Apollo, look at him.
Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't? And he's about to tell us? I think it's because he knows something about I've got an idea. Let's rock. Well, that's always your idea, isn't it? With these documents. But before that, I have a question for the Fräulein detective. If I may? What? Tell me, why do you think that Machi Tabai is blind? Huh? What did he say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind. Of course. He's the blind pianist, right? So doesn't let Miroir lead him around by the hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant, Machi Tabai. According to this, Machi Tabai can see perfectly well. What? That makes things harder, but it does explain how the hell he was able to do some of that stuff. Still doesn't explain how he ended up unconscious beside the murder victim on top of that platform. I mean, I find it hard to believe that he raised the platform and then climbed it and then fell unconscious spontaneously. It seems like you would have to be on the platform and then someone would have raised it. Anyways, but we'll get to that, I'm sure. His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by those clever Borginians. Well, I guess I can believe that, what with the whole Le Miroir doesn't speak English lie. He can see quite well. Objection! But you said... What did I say, exactly? Herr Forehead, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was Fräulein Detective. But that's... a significant fact, yes. I haven't been able to finish a single sentence, it's not fair. Consider, Machi Tabai sees, and he was the only one who could have fled through the air vent. I see no problems with this. But what about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe Herr Forehead neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the .45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words. How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, Herr Forehead. Is it not already here? I'm having fun already. Please, no more fun. I can't handle any more fun. I've reached my fun limit. I knew you didn't have what it took. You jerk! Just what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize. Oh, sorry. That's no way to apologize. He's anchored the Trucy now. Look out.
If we can please end the bickering, now.
Whatever. I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solve this case if it kills me.
But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant.
Ugh, don't say that. Aha! Aha, what? This bloodstain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right? That seems to be what happened, yes? We might be able to find out what was really written here with some forensics. I would like that. Really? You can do that? That's right. With this. It's called luminol. Maybe you know of it. It's a chemical that reacts to blood. Yes. Have we done those tests yet? As if I'm going to tell you. Well, I mean, you kind of have to, I think. The blood stains covered a section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, that section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we should request it here in court now. Oh. That doesn't give me confidence. Right. Go for it, Apollo. Huh? I have to do the test? You just have to spray the luminol on it. Simple. A chemical that reacts to blood. I've heard of this somewhere. Like in the first 3 games or something.
Yes, I believe an analysis is called for.
I'd have had it. Everyone just huddles around Apollo. Okay. Right. Ready? It's easy as pie. Just touch the screen to spray an area. Here, give it a try. The eyes of the entire court are focused on me.
Apollo, your hand's shaking.
Ugh. Let's do this. All right. Yeah. Ip314206. Ipix? iPix. 1pix. It's like a password or something. Wow. It really works.
This must be the power of science.
It says IPXX314206. Oh, is it like an IP address? So we can find out something of something? Is that the killer's name?
I doubt it. Maybe it is if the killer was a robot.
I have it. So what is it? I thought those letters IPXX looked familiar. This is an Interpol ID number.
Interpol?
You mean the International Police Agency? Yes, most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes. But why would he write that number? Maybe the killer was that ID? Why would Mr. Latouche even know a number like that? Good show, Fräulein Detective. Rock on. Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, are you there? Come up to the witness stand. Well, how long has Darian just been chilling here? Darian, you heard what we need. Go check into this Interpol ID number.
Sure thing.
Give me 30 minutes. No. Give me 27. Why did you have to come to the witness stand for that?
I'm not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. Yet if this number is really that of an Interpol agent...
Oh, wait. I know. What if Machi Tabai is really an undercover Interpol agent? That would be a possibility.
A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain.
Why did Latouche know an Interpol ID number? That's what I want to know. Well, he was Interpol himself, maybe? Well, we have some time while we await Darian's report. Let's do this thing again where you can gain penalties even while we're waiting for a report to come back. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Maji Tabai. Please tell me we're going to address the fact that he's unconscious at the time. What are you talking about? Fräulein Detective, please accept my apologies. I know your apologies, they don't work out so well. I received word that the defendant could, in fact, see just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you. You had me until that last bit. Yeah, me too. Does this not raise a rather straightforward question? Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see? Exactly. It makes little sense. What do you think, Herr Forehead? Well, I mean, I guess to rule yourself out as a suspect. Huh? Me? Machi Tabai pretended he was blind. Do you know why? How could he know?
Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he?
He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us on the whole time. Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is all some kind of game? It always is with you. You and your stupid snapping. Know that the moment I heard that report, I knew why.
I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else.
What does that have to do with anything? There was a reason why Machi Tabai pretended to be blind, but it wasn't for his own sake. Getting the picture now? No? Wasn't for himself?
Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to feign blindness?
I haven't a clue, really, and I'm sure they would tell me if I said I didn't know. If it wasn't for his own sake. I haven't a clue. I'm not gonna guess at this and lose health for it. I haven't a clue. I have no idea. Herr Forehead, I'm disappointed in you. Well, that's fine. I don't really need your approval as much as I think I do. Unless you're merely feigning stupidity, yeah? Keep it up, wise guy. Recall the relationship of La Miroir and Machi Tabai. Oh, are you just going to say that it was for her publicity? In particular, their arrangement over the years before visiting our country. La Miroir and her pianist. They would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, because he was blind, or so we thought. She led him at all times. All times. Oh, to give her an alibi. Okay.
all times.
Yet we now know that Machi Dabai could see... We didn't even say his last name. Yet we now know that Machi could see perfectly well. Why keep up the charade?
Well, wasn't it part of their performance?
There is a simpler explanation, Herr Judge. Machi did not need to be led by the hand at all, which means...
Ah! You don't mean...
I do. It was the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was La Miroir.
Huh? What's this? So you mean to say that La Miroir is... she's...
blind as a bat, Herr Judge.
What?
What? But how did she even... But she was able to get to the witness stand by herself. I mean, I guess you could probably do something like that. Oh, that's how she would not have noticed that she dropped her brooch. Holy crap!
This is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin.
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something? Well, since we have her here, why not ask La Miroir herself? I believe she is still in the witness waiting room. Apollo, what does this mean for our case?
Don't ask me. I had no idea she couldn't see.
I hadn't even imagined it until now. What evidence could I possibly have procured that would suggest that? The brooch, I guess. Because they were like, do you have any evidence that of as to why? But I can't see which evidence piece I would have used to prove that, even if I did know.
I hadn't even imagined it until now.
Bailiff, bring in La Miroir.
My goodness, this case is just twists every 2 seconds. I can't handle it, I tell you. La Miroir, it pains me deeply to call you before us again in this way, and yet I must. Please, do not be concerned on my behalf.
Those eyes. She really can't see? Really?
It is true. How funny it is that a tiny lie born in the Virginian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world. Or at least, wherever we are. Japan, America.
So you are...
Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became La Miroir. Know too that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for La Miroir. Well, how would you know the difference between light and dark if you couldn't see anyways?
I see.
You may recall me saying something toward the beginning of this trial, Herr Forehead.
Huh? Well, I mean, you're gonna tell us anyways, but what's that?
I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witnesses. Now, La Miroir, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. It was never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor?
Yes, of course. Though I admit I'm a little lost here.
I think we're all a bit lost here, Your Honor.
So her when she witnessed the thing, she really might have witnessed it by sound. That wasn't just something she said for reasons that I can't remember. La Miroir's eyes. All right, a testimony at least. I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this, so silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
But this is a murder trial.
I apologize. It was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret no matter what. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would... She told us the truth in the beginning, when she said she saw nothing.
Very well. Does the defense have anything to add?
No. I'd like to cross-examine.
But what is there left to ask?
There was one thing in her testimony that bothered me.
Perhaps it is best we let you get it out of your system. Someday you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself. Is that not what I'm doing right now, sort of?
Very well. The defense may proceed.
I don't have an option to think for myself. There is no think for myself button. I only have to go on what other people say.
However, be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness.
Oh, this is more where I can't press on the wrong ones.
Okay. There was only one part that bothered me. Just let me ask about that, and I'll be happy.
Well, there are only 4, but it'll take my health off if I ask on the wrong places, I guess. Okay, I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I couldn't see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others. That seems funny for me and I can't figure out why.
I suppose that's her confession, of sorts. There's just one part that bothers me. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, I hoped he would tell me what that part might be. Okay, no memory of the light. I'm just trying to say, okay, no memory of the light. I mean, it bothers me that that's in quotes, but that's not something that Apollo would be able to see exactly. No memory of the light. Was there any point at which she referred to light in earlier testimony, or with any of these evidence pieces? I don't think so. Although one wonders how they would pull off such a complicated magic trick if she was blind, but I guess that's not something for me to worry about right now. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. Okay, that doesn't really seem like a thing that's wrong. A producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. That does strike me as odd, but I can't really figure out why. Let me press there. Maybe I'll lose health.
Hold it!
Perhaps your music reminded him of the Virginian scenery?
No, it was quite the opposite.
The opposite?
According to my producer, my music has a certain global quality.
Global?
Multicultural, if you will. Hard to pin to one region. When people listen to it, they picture the country closest to their hearts. Which is why my music has reached so many.
What a lovely story. It sounds like this producer might have known what he was doing after all.
My songs are nothing more than a white canvas. To me, the real landscape painter are the listeners.
Okay, maybe it's just a language thing.
When I think of that, I do not mind how I am represented to the world so much. Yet one thing quickly led to another.
Okay, maybe I'm not actually penalized for pushing on everything, so let's push on everything.
Hold it! Was that to protect your image as the landscape painter in sound?
That does not matter so much to me, really. But the label is quite concerned about it, I think.
A landscape painter who can't see. That's like a pianist who can't play, huh?
I'm not sure you can compare your father to Lemiroir.
The world of commercial music is filled with these little white lies. Nothing is sacred when it comes to publicity.
Okay, so that wasn't it. Oh wait, no. Sorry, this was the one I meant to push on, but I pushed on the other one and I was like, why didn't you say anything about the staff? Okay, everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others. That seems the most weird to me.
When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latouche?
Of course. He was my manager.
So he knew.
And that's what's been bugging me, because why would he write it down, I guess, if she couldn't see it?
Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
I believe I know what is bothering our young defense attorney. You are thinking you're only like 2 years older than me. You are thinking of when you discovered the body, yes? Is he right, Apollo?
Yes, I was.
Oh, that he said the witness was the siren. Oh, I see, okay.
He's alive! Mr. Latouche!
This is like the 20th time I've read these lines.
Can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness.
You're cold? Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help is on the way.
Can't see.
Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness?
The witness is Siren. Fucking, I told you already, Jesus.
Mr. Latouche told me to ask the witness, and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind.
And he couldn't necessarily have known you were close, I guess.
I don't know.
What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself.
Meaning what?
There is no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more.
The witness, Siren. We've heard them many times, along with a little play acting by our defense.
All these times I've been doing a dramatic rereading of it, and Apollo's been doing the same thing. I remember them well myself, but that statement is not to what I refer. I mean what he said before that.
Before? What came before that? Ah!
I don't remember. Hang on, tell me again. That's right. He tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. Oh. Yeah, okay, I probably should have picked that up a little earlier. He was talking about the witness.
I see.
Too bad the defense did not. Well, Air Forehead, try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time.
Yeah, I did. I just didn't see it. Smart ass.
Order! Recall Lemiroir's earlier testimony.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it.
But she couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that. That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Latouche witnessed her through that window. Why else would he have named her as the witness?
But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots. And the man's voice.
Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We've already run a simulation, of course.
But it was so clear. If I heard that voice again, I would know in an instant.
Your Honor! What is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in session here? We have the results back from the investigation. Yeah, how did you not know? You sent that was like a half hour ago. Investigation.
The investigation?
Ah, the Interpol number that Mr. Latouche left us.
Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterward. Detective Crescend, your report, please.
Let's hear it, Darien.
I asked Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing.
Quick work as always, Darien.
Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent?
IPXX314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Latouche.
What?
Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latouche himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation.
So when he wrote those letters,
he was trying to tell us his own identity, and a cautious killer tried to wipe them away.
Mr. Latouche was an undercover Interpol agent, so him being La Miroir's manager
was just a cover, most likely.
There's one other important detail I found.
Well, add with it.
It concerns that .45 caliber rifle. The rifle? That's not correct. I didn't read that at all. Revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently, it belonged to Romain Latouche. I don't know what I said. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms, and the registration number on the revolver matched. So the victim was killed with his own weapon, which makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver.
So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op.
I wonder how that ties into everything, and he tried to warn us. And how would... Well, it's kind of weird that seems to suggest that Machi's murder was less premeditated if he didn't even have a murder weapon slotted up. He had to steal one. It's got to tie in somehow, you'd think.
Yeah, somehow.
And yet...
Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Who's holding it? Who is doing the holding of it? Is it that one? La Miroir?
Wait. La Miroir, is something the matter?
That voice just now. Darien? Mr. Darien, is it? It was him. I'm sure of it.
It was him?
You aren't saying... That voice I heard, talking to Mr. Latouche, when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darien. Is this some kind of a joke?
What?
No way. Oh, what? You're not going to be a to be continued now, are you?
The courtroom fell into such a chaotic state the trial had to be suspended. I'd never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get an accusation like that one. La Miroir, fingering Darien Crescent. Not only is he's a guitarist, he's a detective. Could it really have been his voice La Miroir heard, or is she just trying to buy time for us? Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it.
Hey, no whipping out now, Apollo.
Well, I didn't say...
Day 2 investigation. Oh man, really? We're gonna go look around for some more clues at the crime scene, dude.
July 9th, 2:12 p.m. Right? Anything agency. Well, we survived a day. Good grief.
Hey, Apollo.
What?
Well, actually nothing. I mean, something. Or maybe not.
Out with it. The suspense has given me an ulcer.
Well, the trial today? I was thinking, if you gave it a score, what score would you give it? Like a 3?
Score? Gee. I guess I would, or maybe, well, I'm just as bad as you.
See? It's so vague.
Clearly. Machi avoided a guilty verdict, which is something, although I can't say I'm any less confused about the case.
I asked Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing. IPXX314206. The agent registered on this number was Romain Latouche.
And the victim, Mr. Latouche. Who would have guessed he was actually an undercover Interpol agent? What a mess. And we don't have any idea what he was investigating.
Well, true, but we know who shot him now. La Miroir told the whole court.
Wait, that voice just now. It was him, I am sure of it. That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darien.
It's another mystery, Apollo. I love mysteries.
I don't. Speaking of mysteries, what's Mr. Wright up to? I wouldn't mind asking his opinion.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen Daddy around.
What, is he some kind of stray that just wanders in and out at will?
More or less.
I wouldn't say that, but he has been going out a lot.
He was the killer!
Some top secret mission, he said.
Top secret?
Anyway, you can't just rely on him to save the day. Also, just random thought out of nowhere. I recognize that I have Maya in the thumbnail for this one, but I'm beginning to become 100% confident that Maya, Edgeworth, and a lot of the characters from the first game the trilogy aren't going to be in this one. I think they come in games 5 and 6, Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. I had expected they would come in here, but I guess this makes more sense because then we get to
like to properly set up Apollo and Trucy's story without being like, because they could have just gone full ham on like, hey, look at all these characters that you remember and like, but then I would have been focusing on them and not the new ones. So I think this was a good call to not just like dump all the old characters into this one, but I expect some of them will be returning for 5 and 6. I'm pretty sure I even saw some of them on the cover. Anyways, just a random thought I had that I keep forgetting to say. Anyway, you can't just rely on him to save the day, and you've got me to help you. We'll be fine.
Fine. Right. That's my favorite word. Well, time's a-wasting, as they say. Let's investigate.
That's the spirit. Yeah, let's... Oh, do I have new examination stuff for all this stuff? Well, how about some tea? There you go.
Thanks. That's nice. But this is not the time to be drinking tea.
That's right, we have to get investigating. That was a close call. We almost relaxed. Yeah, we're not supposed to do that. Charlie, how you doing? Mr. Charlie, sorry.
Mr. Charlie, the potted plant. Uh-huh. His leaves are looking a little brown.
They sure aren't. Good morning, Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie, your leaves.
Maybe you weren't giving him enough water.
No, it must be stress. He's worried about the new recruit at the office.
Hey, don't blame it on me. You are watering him, right?
It was Daddy's turn to water him this week.
Mr. Wright has been away on his top-secret mission, no?
I'm sorry, Mr. Charlie. This is all my fault. I'll water you soon, promise.
A strange split block leers at me from the wall. No matter how many times I see that there, it still strikes me as odd.
Really? I guess I've gotten used to it after growing up with it always around the house.
What kind of a home did you grow up in?
I'd hide in there when we played hide and seek. You just get in, slide the sections around, and you're impossible to find.
I bet you would be,
when there are only 3. Over the top hat, any more illicit materials beneath here?
That's one of those hats you pull things out of, right?
Of course. My hat's like a little universe, bigger on the inside than the outside.
That reminds me of a sci-fi show I used to watch.
Twilight Zone? What is the joke being made there? Twilight Zone? I want to say. Incidentally, my pocket is a little universe too. And my panties, and
I get the idea.
Piano.
How's your magic act coming along?
Well, I've been working on my cups and balls routine.
Is that the one where the ball moves from under one cup to the other?
That's right. Very same. Here, watch. First, I put one of the cups over the ball, then I snap my fingers. Ta-da! The ball's under the other cup.
It's not there.
Watch me pull something out of my magic panties.
Nice try.
I guess I know what I'll be doing tonight. Practicing. You can be my audience, Apollo.
I
I still don't know who this individual here is. It's Trucy's role model, but whom?
A faded photograph showing one of Trucy's favorite magicians. She talks to it daily for good luck, I hear.
I almost forgot. I hope I become a famous grand magician. Oh, and I hope Apollo becomes an ace attorney. There, all done.
I suppose if you're going to talk into inanimate objects, the photo isn't so bad.
There are worse ones, like a plate of spaghetti.
I've seen some restaurants that set a real food to show it's on the menu.
I have too, but I noticed something strange. One time, there was a sandwich without any lettuce. Like it had disappeared.
By magic. I'm sure someone just swiped the lettuce and ate it.
Wait, that sandwich. You didn't. Apollo, you shouldn't eat sample food, no matter how hungry you are.
Just how hard up do you think I am?
Well, historically speaking, she wasn't wrong to assume that, if that's what she assumed.
You know, that ring kind of gets in the way. Our client the other day tripped on it and fell on the floor.
Sending my ring rolling out the door. You know how long it took me to find it?
You know how long it took to calm down the client? And in the end, they walked out without hiring us. Could you clean up a bit?
But don't you think the props give the office a festive, fun-filled mood?
I'm not sure law offices have to be festive and fun-filled.
Apollo! This is the Right Anything agency. As CEO, I want an office that says we know how to have fun.
I guess it is her office, isn't it? Regrettably.
No, I appreciate your fun sense of trying to not let people die.
There are several books here of magic mixed in with the legal books on the shelves. I dusted them recently. Nothing like the gleam of clean books.
Sure, Apollo. Darian did it.
Lamiroir dropped a bomb in court today. It was Darian.
Lamiroir said she's never forgotten a voice, right? That's so cool.
I guess.
What's that called again?
Elephant ears?
I bet that's what they're called.
Somehow, I don't think that's what it means I don't think that means what you think it means. And she has to be wrong this time.
Wrong? Why?
I mean, look. Those gunshots were right during the concert.
Oh, that's right. I was burning up the dance floor at the time.
Right. Did you happen to look up on stage? Maybe at Darian even?
You bet I did. Darian, I'm saying it wrong every time. Just differently every time, sorry. Much like Romain Latouche. He is one of the Governor's guitarists, after all. He's so cool. Oh.
Right.
All the Governors have a rock
solid alibi. He couldn't have shot Mr. Latouche backstage.
But Lamiroir heard him, didn't she? She heard Darian backstage, right?
Somebody's either wrong or lying very badly here.
Well, there's every potentiality that someone knew that there would be a blind witness and just recorded Darian's voice or something. Agent Latouche.
An Interpol agent.
I was wondering, what is Interpol anyway?
Huh? Interpol? They're the guys who catch international criminals.
Why can't they just call them international police instead, or making up some silly name?
Yeah. Anyway, you think he was investigating La Miroir?
What? Why would anyone do that?
She's not a criminal, she couldn't be.
Don't be fooled by appearances is all I'm saying. But remember, I'm a magician, Apollo. I can spot a palmed coin at 50 paces.
If only it were that easy. In any case, we know he was working on something.
I wonder if it was something that had something to do with that something. That's something being our case. The last something, I mean.
Something like that.
Frankly, sorry, I need to read that again. That was so funny.
Frankly, the whole thing is making my head hurt. What was Mr. Latouche up to?
Ah, ha, 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 ha! Whoever that is.
Trucy, was that another one of your tricks?
It wasn't me. I can't even make Mr. Hat laugh like that. Oh, here comes this one. I knew we'd be seeing more of you. Wherever that mundane gives way to miracles, a word is whispered. Greymaria.
Greymaria?
Is it supposed to be gray area? Hang on. Hey, the other day...
Ah! Who's there?
Who's there is a weird thing to say to someone who runs in front of you. We didn't just imagine that, did we?
He was wearing a steel cat. Friend of yours?
Hardly. We meet again!
Nice to meet you. Who are you? And could you please stop smirking like that?
I couldn't tell he was smirking under the mustache. Ah! It's you! Uncle Valent!
Uncle Valent? He's your uncle?
No, silly. It's the great
Greymaria.
Valent Greymaria.
Valent Greymaria? Uncle what?
Valent Greymaria. Valent Greymaria. Valent Greymaria. I don't know. Valent Greymaria is how we're going to say it, even though I'm sure that's definitely wrong. The Grand Magician. Yes, it is I, the Grand Valent... Shit, I can't say my own name. The Great Valent Greymaria, as seen on television.
Could you please stop smirking like that?
It's been a while, Miss Trucy. 7 years to be exact. Your mentor? My, have you have grown. Good to see you again, Uncle Valent. You look exactly the same.
I hate to intrude, but what is a great magician doing paying us a visit?
I believe it was you who wished to see me. So be quick with your questions. And do not quail, quake, or quiver. I am quite tame. I'm sorry, I'm very scared. Though my stardom may sear the sight, I'm quite down to earth when need calls.
He does have a certain aura to him. It's true.
Let's ask him about the case, Apollo.
His aura sure isn't lost on our magician in the making. She's practically drooling with enthusiasm.
After all, Uncle Valent's one of Daddy's best friends. That's why I call him Uncle.
What? Daddy, you mean Mr. Wright?
No, I mean my real daddy.
Yeah, Trucy's real father.
I thought this guy might have been her real father. Okay, so it is sweet. For sure, adoption is a thing. She's not just... Okay, I thought I was going bonkers for a minute. I dig the song. Troop Greymaria. Oh, wait, Apollo. Don't tell me you don't know about Troop Greymaria.
Troop Grammary? Huh? No.
Okay, well that should give me a hint about how to say it. Greymaria. Okay, I guess.
But it does sound kind of familiar.
Oh, lost life. Lamentably listless lad. Alright, that's a bit harsh. To not know of the greatest troop of magicians on the planet.
Leyland Grammary. The name began to surface in my mind. It was a name I'd heard on television as a child.
You bet you've heard the name. He made a cruise ship disappear and blew up an amusement park. Oh, and he made all this gold disappear from a safe and then escaped from a high security prison.
Is he like a felon? You said he is a magician.
I open the locks to hearts chained by mediocrity. This is the true miracle of Troop Grammary.
Oh, wait.
What, Apollo?
I do remember seeing you on television a long time ago. Weren't you with someone else, like a duo?
A duo?
Yeah, you had a partner. Something Grammary.
Yes, Zach Grammary. A masterful maker of magic, a capable crafter of shining showmanship.
Huh? Why is everyone so quiet?
Is that her dad?
Daddy? Huh? Oh, no way! Truce's father? Once upon a time, the troop Gramarye included 2 Grand Magicians. Myself, Valen Gramarye, and my partner, Zach Gramarye. And this Zach he was my real daddy. Trucy's father, a magician. I guess it makes sense. I had no idea. Is that who this is? Up here, maybe? There wasn't much point in talking about it. Not now that he's gone. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I'm not lonely. I've got my daddy, after all. And you make me laugh, Apollo. Glad that I'm good for comic relief, at least. Not that I see Daddy around much these days, because he's on his top-secret mission. Ah! I've been remiss in remembering my reasons for my visit. Reasons? 2, in fact. The first being, of course, to see you, Miss Trucy. Oh, I just noticed this dude's hair is, like, extremely long. I thought he had, like, it was just part of his cape. This guy has a dope look, actually. You don't know how happy I am to see you again, Uncle Valent. Valent? Shit. I'm sure you are. Not one for modesty, are you? When I encountered you at the Coliseum, the first thing in 7 years, I could fain contain my emotions. I wept oceans. And to learn you now defend that poor pianist, that blinded boy, 'twas a hot topic of talk amongst the staff, you know. And defend him you did. Well, it wasn't all my doing. Well, I'm his defense attorney, actually. My other reason for coming here today was this. That's a videotape? Oh, I see what people were talking about, referencing the Blue Badger case. We're gonna be having another security tape to look over, aren't we? Uh-oh. 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 Quite so. A recording of the concert, no less. I brought it for you, Trucy, on behalf of Troop Gramarye. Will you watch it? I guess we will. Oh, is it just the same cutscene as before? Oh, is it only a recording of this, or does it record all of it? Because this bit doesn't... Darian isn't present during this. Oh wait, unless that's him on the drum set back there. Oh god. Sorry, I just broke my entire desk. Did I see someone sneaking away in the back there? I'm not even sure. Oh, she's got the brooch on. That's an interesting note. I guess she did say she lost it after going backstage, right? Yeah, we get to see him catch fire again. I probably shouldn't laugh at that. But just given his recent, I feel like that's warranted, given his recent sass towards us. Are we gonna have to, like, sync up the, if the recording does cover the whole concert, then are we gonna have to, like, sync up the mixing board with the video and see, because there's something, I feel like they wouldn't have brought up that fact that Darian was playing out of time if it wasn't important. Wow, it's almost as good as it was live. So, what's the word? Mysterious. Oh, sorry. So, what's the word? Mysterious. There are more mysterious things than her song going on. Way more mysterious. This Valen Gramarye has some good reasons to be here today. But I wonder what his reasons were to be at that concert. How could he have known something was going on? Videotape received from Valen Gramarye. By the way, we've talked all we can, so I guess we'll head out now. Oh, unless the examines are different now. Nope. Good. Well, thank you very much, Valen. Who would ever... Sunshine Coliseum. Oh. Oh, is this the outside? Oh, dang. July 9th, Sunshine Coliseum. Whew! What a great day. It's perfect weather for sleuthing. The weather matters for an investigation? Don't some days just feel like magic days or defense days? Sure. Let's get started, shall we? Right on. Show us your stuff, Apollo. What stuff? Your voice training. This is the perfect place for it. I did enough at home, thanks. Oh, there's no need to be shy. Keep that up and you'll never make it on the big stage. I'm happy in the courtroom, thank you. I am a lawyer. Then you're in luck, because it's lawyer weather today. Don't you just want to face the blue sky and shout objection? Look, the weather has nothing to do with lawyers. Let's get going already. Not before we examine all the interesting stuff outside. What's that creature there? Ooh, that's the police mascot, the Blue Badger. Huh? It's life-size. Haven't you seen them around town? Patrolling the streets? Yes, now even Law and Order has a mascot. I'd run from that thing even if I wasn't a criminal. Why does its head wobble like that when it walks? It's freaky. I don't think you're showing true Blue Badger spirit, Apollo. No, I think it's intentional also. Sunshine Coliseum sure is living up to the name today. It's huge! And Mr. Gavin got to play on that enormous stage. I'm so jealous. Someday I'll fight my first battle on the stage. Battle? We said it at the same time. Well, yeah, it's a Coliseum, isn't it? They don't do gladiatorial contests at these places anymore, Trucy. Really? I had no idea. I wonder why they stopped. Sometimes I worry about her. Yeah, I think is this one of them sometimes where it's actually quite a long time? Oh my god, they rented a blimp for this? Look, a blimp! Those balloons next to it have ad banners on them.
Well, let's see. Big sale, all shirts 50% off.
Oh, it's an ad for the department store next door.
Not these ones, you mean? Those all say guilty as charged. Well, I reckon that's just about all we can do in here. Or out here, I guess it's more accurate. Backstage hallway. Finally back to where we know stuff. We can have seen stuff before. July 9th, backstage hallway. Oh, hi, Lemuroir.
Mr. Attorney.
How did you know it was me?
Lemuroir.
I'm sorry about today. There was nothing you need...
Sorry, I think Apollo must have said I'm sorry about today.
There is nothing you need to apologize for. You were merely defending Machi.
Are you okay? Alone, I mean.
Humans are blessed with 5 senses. Even robbed of 1, we get by. Though it does make being a witness rather difficult.
Speaking of seeing, you knew who we were before we spotted you just now. And we weren't even talking.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I heard your footsteps several times the day before.
Oh, you must have great ears.
Ears that heard the crime taking place.
Or so she claimed yesterday. But how? Wait, okay, so we proved that the window was closed, but did we end up... I kind of forget if Gavin ever proved that they were closed during the murder. And I don't know how they would have proved that. Without, like, a picture or something. Anyways, let's examine all this junk. That's been lying there since the day before yesterday.
It's small. Maybe no one's noticed it.
I kinda want to pick it up. Make a cool souvenir, don't you think?
It does stick out in my mind for some reason.
I don't know why we haven't really just done anything with that.
Must fit in somehow, right?
Especially with all this stuff about senses and junk. Oh! Well, if there was no way for you to hear it, maybe someone had that headset on and it was receiving from Latus's, so they heard the gunshots that way? Nah, let me not get ahead of myself here. Let's just examine the rest of this.
Oh, that would be the Blue Badger, the police mascot. There's a guy outside in a giant Blue Badger costume, lumbering about. He stands out even more than those Governor's posters.
It's all the same. He's the band mascot too, you know.
I can't picture Prosecutor Gavin going for that kind of thing.
Neither can I. I'll bet there's a story there just waiting to be told. Yeah, most likely. Or a few. I'm thirsty, Apollo.
Want something to drink?
How about this one? A Steel Samurai soda. This is the same as yesterday. Is the poster same one? Yep, this one's the same. And what about the music box instrument case box thing? She's gonna say that she's a magic trick you can do with it? Okay, cool.
That's Lemuroir's dressing room and the scene of the crime. It's kind of lightly guarded for being a crime scene.
I'm not complaining. Makes it easier for us to go in. And Emma gave us her okay, right? We can wander in and do as we like.
How is Emma doing anyway? I hope she's not getting cavities from eating all those chocolate snackoos.
She did seem pretty off-put also after yesterday's trial, because Gavin kind of made a bit of a fool of her, as if she needed any more reasons not to like him.
That's the Governor's dressing room. They're all out on the investigation. Being backstage isn't half as glamorous without a band here.
Alright, let's talk. Okay, tell us, Lemuroir.
The voice.
That was quite a statement you made today in court. How about hearing Darian Crescent's voice at the scene of the crime?
I did not know his name, but I never forget a voice.
Wait! Lemuroir! Is something the matter?
That voice just now. It was him. I'm sure of it.
No way.
As I said in court, I was on my way backstage from the stage. That is when I heard his voice.
I'm guessing Darian and Mr. Latus were all talking about something. I said that sentence was the weirdest way anyone has ever said a sentence.
The next moment, I heard those gunshots.
Why didn't you call security?
To be honest, though the noise was quite frightening, I never imagined the gunshots might be real. And I was in quite a hurry myself. I left the scene at once.
I guess it might have been... You might have thought it was some kind of stage effect. I guess that could be. So, it really was Darian's voice that she heard.
Yeah. At least she certainly thinks it was.
Or whatever, one way or another, however it could be possible. Tell us about Machi.
I met Machi before my debut as Lemuroir. I was singing in a restaurant in Virginia, and he was playing...
And he was playing the piano?
Yes. He was very kind to me when he learned I could not see.
Is that when he started playing opposites? With Machi pretending he couldn't see?
No, it wasn't then. That began after our major debut, after I became known as the landscape painter in sound.
It must have been tough for Machi, pretending he couldn't see and all the while acting as your eyes.
We held hands always. He would write with his finger on my palm to signal to me things I should know. He is a smart, gentle boy.
I think I see what she's getting at. Machi would never harm a soul.
That was sort of the impression I got from the no words he spoke to me.
About Mr. Latus.
Yes, he was an Interpol agent, I hear.
So you had no idea?
Of course not. No one did.
I guess that's what it means to be undercover.
But someone was after him. They had to know who he really was. Why did he pose as my manager? I do not understand. You have no idea?
I can only assume that he was investigating me. But why?
What makes you think that?
Perhaps it is not so, but I cannot deny the possibility. Because of my condition, as my present is veiled in darkness, so too is my past clouded from memory.
Clouded. Right.
Darkness. The darkness that I fear is not the darkness that I see whenever I open my eyes. The real darkness lies in my heart.
Wow, how faux poetic for someone who's normally very poetic.
In your heart?
I have no memory of the time before I became La Miroir. I awoke from darkness into darkness, you might say. I was singing in a restaurant those days.
What was it that she said about not being able to remember the light?
I do not know my past. Perhaps I committed some terrible crime in my past. Everything before becoming La Miroir is lost to me.
But I don't think you...
I can think of no other explanation. Why else would an agent of Interpol approach me?
Do you think your past might be related to this case?
No way! That seems really unlikely to me. I mean, you're such a sweet person, La Miroir.
Thank you. Machi too tells me this often when I fear who I might have been.
Well, that's an interesting thought. It seems unlikely because you said you met Romain Lettuce before you, like 3 months before you even came out here. So if he was investigating you, why would he even let you go to a new area where there's all kinds of other stuff getting in the way? Because he's like allegedly your translator.
All right, well, we've had a good talk there. Oh my goodness.
Let's head to the stage before heading backstage. Anything else we can examine here that we didn't already? I think probably not.
Look at all the electronics. It must be sound related.
Doesn't seeing a bunch of machines like this make you want to just fiddle with them? Can I, Apollo? Please?
No fiddling. You'll break something.
If you're going to make an omelet, you gotta break some eggs. That's what Daddy always says.
These eggs look kind of expensive.
No joke. Was all this... Something seems different about all this somehow. Machi played so beautifully.
Yeah, like a real pianist.
That's just silly, Apollo. How can you call someone as good as Machi a pianist? Why, that's like throwing him into the same class as Daddy.
Good thing Mr. Wright didn't hear that one.
I think that might have been said already. Just checking everything. I still can't believe we found Machi and Mr. Lettuce up there.
Yeah. I used to not like high places. Now I hate him.
It's not like it would have been nicer if we found a dead body closer to the ground. Though that reminds me. Daddy's bad with heights too.
Huh, no kidding.
He took me on a Ferris wheel ride a while ago, you know. Why are they speaking so slowly in this one part particularly? Halfway through, his face got all green and he mumbled objection over and over.
Poor guy. Objection.
Guitars.
Now that's a big instrument case.
That's a case for a contrabass, I think.
You could fit 20 violins in there, I bet.
Or the number of truces. Isn't that what where this conversation ends up? You could fit 5 truces in there, yeah. All right, I think that's all we can examine here. So let's head. We'll be heading to the backstages, the dressing rooms. Let's head first to Gaviner's. See if anyone's chilling around in here. No, interesting. Wonder how much of this is the same. I think most of this is the same, probably. All right, this one's new.
The speaker here is the same as the one in La Miroir's room. I wonder if this one was playing as loud as hers.
I don't see a volume control anywhere in the room. My guess is they give all the rooms equal treatment.
You mean equal punishment?
I didn't expect to find much in here anyways, because we've already sort of been here. I don't understand what would have changed here, unless we found a person in here, of course. I just need to examine them in case there are different ones. This one's new.
It's a stack of La Miroir's postcards. Here it is. The landscape painter in sound.
It must be hard to pretend you can see when you can't.
Yet the way she sings so effortlessly, you'd think she had life easy. Some people are just impressive like that.
You know it. It just makes me think about how much further I have to go.
I hope we can solve this quickly and not add to her troubles. Yeah, no joke.
Alright, that means the last place we have yet to go, until things change, of course, which they definitely will, because that's how things go, is La Miroir's dressing room. There's also the distinct possibility that we have to show someone something to progress.
Oh, this brooch, it's on the ground again?
Or did we not pick it up?
Right after the shooting took place, La Miroir tried to come into the dressing room and dropped her brooch.
Oh, we didn't pick it up, I guess. I think that fits with the other stuff we know. Do you think the timing of when she dropped it is important?
Yeah. Something about it bugs me, that's for sure.
Oh, well, wait a minute. All that stuff about her looking in and then seeing that there were problems and then running away is wrong because she can't see. I guess maybe she heard, but what would even she be hearing? Dying noises, I guess.
That's one of the biggest and most expensive looking TVs I've ever seen.
Too bad you'll never own one.
Never's kind of harsh, Juicy.
How about for all eternity, then?
Same difference.
A Gaviner's poster.
How many of those did they put up, anyway?
Prosecutor Gavin looked so cool on stage. You should learn to play the guitar too, Apollo. You can accompany my magic act.
We'd certainly be a novelty act, if nothing else. Why are they speaking so weirdly slowly in this place? I'll think about it if I ever lose my attorney's badge.
A dark foreshadowing.
They found Machi Tabai's fingerprints on that air vent. What's with the long face?
It's a little lackluster, you know?
Lackluster?
I mean, using the air vent is so obvious. No audience is gonna pay good money to see a trick like that.
Things must look different through a magician's eyes.
It'd be much cooler if the killer got it through that tiny window.
Don't go there. You'll get your head stuck.
Look, it's fruit. Fruit, Apollo! Fruit!
I heard you the first time. Sure is a lot of fruit. I doubt anyone would miss a bit of watermelon.
I know. I'll make it vanish. Into my stomach.
Better not. They might make you pay for it. And if you have the money for that, you should probably repaint the office first.
Watermelons are that expensive?
These could have been imported from some exotic locale for all we know.
Yeah, no joke.
Look at the way those bullets tore through this thick wall. That revolver really was something else.
I wonder if someone as little as me could even fire it.
Dislocating your shoulder would kind of put at a crimp on your stage career.
Daddy always has stiff shoulders. Maybe that could loosen him up.
Don't even mention it. I'm afraid he might actually go out and try it.
Nah, he doesn't have the guts to pull the trigger, I bet. Oh, jeez. That's a little weirdly intense.
It's a poster for another show. This summer, a legally illicit production of Case Closed.
I looked into that performance group. Turns out they're all law enforcement related. They're all law enforcement related, too. Apparently their serious portrayal of law and order is a big draw.
That sounds so boring, it's probably pretty interesting.
You're a complicated man, Mr. Apollo Justice.
Yes.
If that's what we're starting to learn here anyways. Okay, they actually properly marked up the crime scene here, so that's interesting. There's the bit of carpet they removed.
Hey, look! Part of the carpet has been torn up here.
That was the part we did the luminol testing on in court.
Luminol, right.
You know what I couldn't stop thinking? Who's gonna pay for this carpet?
As long as it's not us. Maybe the shooter?
I guess it's true what they say. Crime doesn't pay.
I would hope that carpet replacement costs weren't the only thing holding you back.
Look at all these pretty flowers. That's one heavy-duty bouquet right there.
I have trouble thinking of flowers as being heavy-duty.
But they call lots of things heavy-duty.
Not flowers, they don't.
What about a heavy scent?
I think you mean heady.
What if the flowers were made of plastic?
They still wouldn't be heavy.
Okay, what if they were made out of metal?
What, like a magnolia made out of steel?
Exactly. Although I hope all my fans don't start throwing metal flowers at me. Yeah, that would probably hurt in a big way.
Seeing these mirrors lined up makes me think I'm really in a dressing room. Look at all that makeup.
Well, I haven't got a clue, and I doubt those are.
I guess she's not into makeup yet.
Still don't understand that line.
That's one of those permanent dryers you see in hair salons.
Is that what they're really called? Permanent dryers?
Do I look like a beautician? I just know they dry your hair and give you a permanent...
It doesn't sound very glamorous, you know?
Okay, how about a permachine?
Or you could go more simple, like a permer.
This isn't a bad game, thinking of official names for things.
Not that it makes the name of actually official or anything. Oh, that was Apollo, sorry. Got all the presents still piled high, and we still don't know what's in them. What if they were all bombs? A stack of presents for Le Miroir. Stars always get the biggest presents. You know, you could give me a present, Apollo.
Here, have a piece of candy.
Gee, thanks!
She must not get a lot of presents. Poor girl.
This window that has confounded us.
This was the window where Le Miroir saw the crime from. I wish it was that simple.
Kinda hard to see a crime when you can't see. But she did hear it.
Yeah, but the window was closed.
Maybe she heard it some other way. Like that headset that I keep thinking about.
The murder weapon. So it belonged to Mr. Latouche.
That thing makes normal revolvers look like water guns.
Mr. Latouche was a big man. But how about the person who shot him? Wouldn't they have to be about his size?
Or at least more skilled. Alright, so we've examined the basis of everything. Now I think what we have to do is probably we're going to be showing people stuff. Showing people some stuff. I think we probably want to show someone this new video we've got, considering it's the newest thing we have. The only two people we can speak to right now are Valent and Le Miroir. So it's going to be one of those two. I suppose we'll show them all we can next time on Apologist to Say's... Apologist to Say's attorney. Hiccup. Well, at least we got through day one without dying too many times. How many times did we die? Was it just once? Can't really remember, actually. Maybe twice. Obviously none in this episode. I feel like we're cresting over like the entry phase to this case, and we're starting to move into what it's more like the things where they expect you to start like reviewing all the old evidence and stuff. We don't even have 2 pages of evidence yet, though, and that usually happens in the later cases. So I expect we're going to have a few more in this next investigation section. By the way, that'll all be happening later. So thank you very much for coming around. Admiral's going to be out of here. Hopefully I'll see you around. Peace. Oh yeah, we have lag. Oh god, 11 frame delay. Okay, it's fine. If they can do it, I can do it. I mean, that's not necessarily a rule of thumb, but... Yeah.